Golfers, there's nothing more frustrating than hitting a fat shot. Ball goes half the distance that you wanted it to go, and it sucks. You're going to learn a lot in this video today. One of the main reasons why you hit fat shots, what the pros do to help encourage them to hit more solid shots, and the easiest, most simplest little drill training aid that costs $0. And you will start to compress the ball better than you ever have before. How can this crushed aluminum can help you to start crushing the golf ball just like those pros on TV? You've never seen something as easy as this to help better your impact position, to help you compress the ball better than you ever have in your life, all from a crushed aluminum can. Because I want you to finally start hitting the ball first, then taking the divot, not the opposite, where you're hitting the ground first, hitting fat shots, killing all kinds of distance when that happens. This is going to fix that. And if you need to crush the can, it's simple. Just run it over with your car tire, run it over with the golf cart tire. It doesn't get any easier than that. But what I want you to do with this is we're going to position this about 3 golf balls behind your main golf ball. So if we get 3 balls here, all I'm going to do is position these like a sleeve of balls, 3 golf balls, right behind your main ball. Eliminate those 3, and from there, what I want you to be able to do is make swings where you do not hit the aluminum can. Now, what I love about this is when that can is crushed flat as a pancake, it's very flush to the ground. Especially on nice manicured driving ranges or a mat, it's a piece of cake. I have also used in the past towels. We all have a golf towel on our bag, and I've positioned towels back here like this. But towels tend to be a little thicker, a little higher. And if the grass is a little higher or thicker, it puffs up, it raises up a little too much. But if you get that can, as I mentioned, squished flat as a pancake, you're going to be able to make backswings that do not hit the can, because sometimes the towel, when you make a backswing, sometimes the club head hits the towel. It kind of throws you off a little bit. But with that can crushed so low, it won't interfere with your backswing. So in order to miss and avoid hitting the aluminum can, ultimately what needs to happen is we need to obtain a little better lag on the way down, essentially forming this letter L position here between the lead arm and the shaft. And as I can hold that letter L better, and I commonly like to use L for lag, but you also want to feel like the club head stays higher longer. What I mean by that is this. As I'm coming down, as I'm shifting and moving my weight towards the target, and I preface that in almost every one of my videos, we need the weight moving and shifting towards the target. I just don't want you coming down with all arms and no legs, no lower body. This is a very weak downswing, very powerless. But as you work the club to the top, and as you're coming down, and you can feel like that club head, as I mentioned, stays higher longer, ultimately obtaining better lag, where this distance between the shaft and the shoulder is relatively minimal, you're going to give yourself a great chance of not hitting the aluminum can. And like I said earlier, you're going to compress that golf ball better than you ever have before. And the feeling from that is amazing. And the results are even better. There's a great visual that I saw recently on the Golf Channel from an incredible instructor, Martin Hall. And what he was showing, and I thought this was really cool, they put a graphic of a pool, like in the shallow end of a pool. And what he was saying, on the way down, if you can feel like your hands are going to get into the pool around pocket or thigh high, so in other words, maybe 2 feet of water in the shallow end, as you're coming down, if the hands and the butt end of the grip get into the water first, fabulous. Because what's happening, yet again, that club head is staying higher longer. Too many of you on the way down are casting or throwing the club this way. Ultimately, that club is working further away from your trail shoulder. And when that happens, forget about compressing the golf ball. The impact position totally breaks down. We get into more of that scooping or flipping scenario. The odds of you hitting the ground first, hitting a fat shot, is sky high. And we know when we hit the ground first, it kills the distance. Quite frankly, if I had a choice, I'd rather take a thin shot than a fat one. Now the thin one might only get this high off the ground, but at least I advanced the ball. When we hit a fat one, it typically goes about half or so the distance that we were seeking. So that visualization of the hands getting into the pool first. Another way to think about it, I tell students all the time, it's almost like back in the day when people would hitchhike. You want to feel like this lead hand, the thumb, stays up higher longer. When that's the case, this is getting me into an incredible position to deliver that club to impact incredibly powerfully. Because if that thumb starts to lose its up position and we're going this way, we're throwing the club out, we're losing all kinds of power. Essentially, the tour pros are working back wide and then they come down narrow. The shaft again is close to that trail shoulder. So when you try this with the aluminum can, moral of the story, don't hit the can. Let's give this a shot. Let's see what happens. How about that? Almost a hole in one. If you can miss the crushed can, I'll guarantee you, you're going to start crushing the golf ball better than you ever have before. So put in the comments below some drills that maybe have helped you to better your impact position, to help ultimately get you to compress the ball better, because I would love for your comments to help other golfers. As I say in a lot of my videos, my #1 goal with my channel is to help golfers worldwide. And some of your comments may very well help other golfers. And as I always mention, I offer you a free swing analysis. Simply subscribe to my channel. Doesn't get any easier than that. After subscribing, you'll see down below the first pinned comment as a link to one of the pages on my website where you can download the free V1 Golf app. Send me your swings. I'd love to help.